Hello and welcome along to this week's edition of Hong Kong Direct, coming to you a bit earlier this time out as we approach our first Saturday meeting for the season. Here's what's coming up on the show this week. And one of the big talking points was the win of Golden 60 in the Sha Tin Trophy last weekend. We'll touch on that, and also we're going to be catching up with one of last weekend's heroes, Derek Leung, in weighing in. Plus Skyfield, he is one of Hong Kong's most exciting horses. Will he be winning again this weekend? I'm Edward Sadler. It's a pleasure to have your company on the show. Our special guest is Tom Biddington, the racing editor from the South China Morning Post. Thanks for joining us on the show this week, Tom.
Thanks, Ed. Great to be here.
Earlier on in the week, you wrote about the possible HKIR implications from the weekend just gone. Might be a little while to go before the middle part of December, but last weekend was certainly an important weekend building up towards our biggest meeting here in Hong Kong. Yeah,
definitely. It was fantastic to see Golden 60, the new superstar of Hong Kong racing, continue his winning ways. It's 9 in a row now, and he looks like he's going to be very, very hard to beat in the Hong Kong Mile. But different story in the sprinters ranks. We've got a bit of a lack of depth there, and hopefully we can get someone from overseas to help fix that.
Let's hope so. As far as Golden 60 is concerned then, Tom, he beat Beauty Generation. That's twice he's beaten him now. Was Sunday's Sha Tin Trophy the changing of the guard at the top end of town, if you like?
It certainly seems that way. I wouldn't put a line through Beauty Generation entirely. The conditions certainly weren't there to suit him. He was second up, carrying top weight in a handicap. He'll be better when he gets back to set weights, but by the way it looks, it's going to be very, very hard to beat it, for anyone to beat Golden 60. OK, well, if you missed any of it, let's recap what happened last weekend with Doug Chalmers.
The Oriental Watch Sha Tin Trophy. 1600, they're racing.
Sunday's Group 2 Oriental Watch Sha Tin Trophy was built up as a rematch between champion veteran Beauty Generation and emerging superstar Golden 60. Any doubters over the verdict after the first bout in the Celebration Cup were silenced as Golden 60 continued his rise to the top of the ranks in Hong Kong.
Car Ying Star leads. Golden 60 though, he went to him. Vincent had a look, then he went past him. Southern Legend next from Dances with Dragon, but Golden 60's in front of Car Ying Star. He's fighting on gamely. Golden 60 half a length. He wants to sit down. He wins. Golden 60 beat a very brave Car Ying Star.
Today is settled a lot more in the parade ring and behind the gate, and inside the gate he was so relaxed. That's why I think each run his fitness is coming on, and hopefully until December he should be at the top.
The win took Golden 60's record to 12 wins from 13 starts, and his trainer Francis Loy confirmed afterwards that the 5-year-old will stick to 1600 metres for his next assignment, which is likely to be in the Jockey Club Mile on November the 22nd. As for Beauty Generation, his new trainer David Hayes suggested that he will wear his famous pink blinkers once again, as he hopes for an improved run third up next time. While the Sha Tin Trophy went to script with Golden 60 prevailing as the 1.3 favourite, Wishful Thinker caused a massive upset in taking out the Group 2 Premier Bowl earlier on in the day for the sprinters at the big odds of 44-1.
Computer Patch leads. Perfect Match dropped off. Big Party went to second. Voyage Warrior out wider. Wishful Thinkers getting into the clear. Computer Patch with Hot King Prawn running on. Computer Patch. Wishful Thinker is storming down the centre. Computer Patch leads. Wishful Thinker drives. The pair of them, they hit it, and Wishful Thinker.
It was Wishful Thinker's first win for over 18 months, and his first as well for his new trainer Dennis Yip. His performance was even a surprise for jockey Derek Leung.
We thought he would win better last time, but he had trouble in the beginning, and the middle stage we got him too close, and that's how he couldn't finish. And this time we tried to take the blinker off and make him fresh, and he much more relaxed today, and when he see the daylight, he finished very good.
The Premier Bowl may have showcased the best sprinters in Hong Kong at this point in time, but those ranks will be strengthened in the next few weeks, with Saturday's Everest winner Classic Legend already in quarantine in Australia before joining Casper Bounds' stable at Sha Tin.
And we'll get to Classique Legend in a moment, but let's start off, Tom, with Golden 60 at the top of our talking points from the weekend. I know he only won by half a length, but he toyed with them on Sunday.
Don't worry about the margin. He had panels on those horses. It was the manner in which he did it which was most impressive. Vincent Ho hasn't touched the whip in either of his 2 runs back this campaign, and he's got such an explosive turn of foot. He can just sit off his rivals, pull out into the straight, and then when he asks for an effort, he goes straight past them. Yeah, don't worry about margins or anything like that. He's a seriously good horse. He has them covered, and it'll be exciting to see when Vincent does cut the ribbons one day.
Yes, as Mark McNamara said at the top of the straight, he was absolutely cruising. He's won 12 from 13. I can't see anything here in Hong Kong beating him, Tom.
I agree, Ed. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for any of those horses to turn it around on him, just particularly in his racing style and the way he's going. But the exciting part about that is that we've got a genuine world-class horse coming through in Hong Kong. He's going to be the new banner horse for the Jockey Club and for the city. So that's exciting, and we want to see him come out and do it in December.
Yes, there's shades of Abel Friend really heading into what he did in 2014 with what we've got with Golden 60 in 2020. So of the beaten brigade, the most notable is Beauty Generation. That was his worst performance for quite some time. He is now an 8-year-old. He's been a super horse. He's an 8-time Group 1 winner. But what do we have to say about him now where he is at his career after Sunday?
Look, it's a slight forgive. It's the first time he's missed a place since April 2018. That's over 2 years. He's been a super horse for a very, very long time. The conditions certainly didn't suit him on Sunday. He was carrying 133 pounds, giving the rest of them all weight, and second up is never ideal for him. He'll be better when he comes back to the set weights races of the Jockey Club Mile and the Hong Kong Mile, but certainly he's towards the end of his career, and his owner Simon Kwok said afterwards, if he doesn't run well in the Hong Kong Mile, he'll be retired, which yeah, hopefully he can still run well and show that he belongs. But if that's the case, well, it's certainly been a wonderful career.
Definitely. He's been such a great horse for Hong Kong racing for the last few seasons. So from Beauty Generation and Golden 60 and the Sha Tin Trophy, let's go to earlier on in the day into the sprinters. Wishful Thinker had been a good horse, of course. I think I'm right in saying that you were there in Dubai when he competed on the world stage on Dubai World Cup night. So we know he's a classy individual, but he'd been out of form. Did you see a performance like that in the wings?
I certainly did not. I think he had his birthday on Sunday, and I certainly don't think he'll be backing that up again. What it really highlighted was the lack of depth in the sprinting ranks in Hong Kong. Computer Patch was solid. But there are still question marks over him running out a strong 1,200 metres. He was probably entitled to do a little bit more, carrying just 117 pounds. The horse I'd be following out of that's Hot King Prawn. He returned pretty solidly. He was carrying 133, and we know he's genuinely competitive in those Group 1 levels. So he'd be the one to follow going forward, but there's certainly a space there for a new superstar to come in.
And that new superstar could be Classique Legend, the winner of the highly valuable Everest in Sydney last weekend. He's already travelled to Melbourne since then to go into quarantine to get ready to come to Hong Kong. Let's get an update, though, on his progress with his new trainer, Casper Founds.
Very exciting, a horse like that, to see what he did the other day. We always knew he had it in him. We always felt he's a horse that's going to bring big things, and I'm glad he's coming up here, and I'll have my chance to train him for some big races, in the future. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. He looks a very, very exciting prospect for the stable.
You've had to be patient. This has been in the pipeline for quite some time.
Yeah, it's been in the pipeline for a long time. There's a few setbacks, as everyone knows, but very happy for my owner, Bon. He deserved that victory. He's spent an absolute fortune on horses the last couple of years. He's going at it in a big way. And, you deserve to get some major prize money and win some big races. So I think he's put himself in a position to do that with some of the lovely horses he's bought in the last 12 months.
And how's he pulled up after the Everest? Has there been any reports from Australia
Yes,
so far?
Of course, yeah. We moved him from Sydney to Melbourne on Monday. I'm happy to report he's settled in very well into his new quarantine environment there. He had a little trot around yesterday, nice and easy, and today the same sort of trot and canter, 1.5, and he's in great shape. James Winks is riding him for me track work there, and is reporting good things back, that the horse is bright and happy and enjoying himself. So yeah, at this stage we're very excited, and he'll be landing in Hong Kong on the 9th of November, sort of give us sort of 4.5 weeks to prepare him here for the big race.
Casper Founds catching up with Doug Chalmers at Happy Valley on Wednesday night. Our thanks as well to Sky Racing and also to Paul Bloodworth for the vision and photos respectively. He's beaten the best in Australia this spring then, Tom, as far as the sprinting ranks are concerned. You spoke about the lack of depth in the sprinting ranks here at the moment in Hong Kong. He's coming up at the perfect time.
Absolutely. Most ratings experts had that effort in the Everest down as the best sprinting performance anywhere in the world this year. So obviously if he can continue that sort of form, get up to Hong Kong in reasonable nick and train on for the Hong Kong sprint, he'll be very, very hard to beat. And then obviously the plan on after that is to take on the world from this base in Hong Kong with potentially Dubai, Tokyo, maybe even Europe, and then back to defend his Everest crown. So it's super exciting for everyone to see a real top-line sprinter come back here at a time when, there's not a lot of depth after a lot of injuries and retirements.
Yes, we've seen Casper Founds have great success campaigning sprinters like Lucky 9 around the world in the past, and he'll have a new exciting one in Classic Legend joining his stable very soon, as we just heard then. Plenty more to look forward to on Hong Kong Direct for this week. Don't go anywhere. After the break, we'll be catching up with Derek Leung and also looking forward to the best of the weekend's action from Sha Tin. It's always one of the highlights of the racing season in Hong Kong, the Sarsa Ladies Purse, and this year's renewal, it's anticipated that we'll see Exultant, last season's Horse of the Year, return to the races for the first time this campaign in that race. One thing we like to do here on Hong Kong Direct is help you to get to know some of the participants better of Hong Kong racing that make racing here such a vibrant and exciting racing jurisdiction. This week on the show, we're weighing in with Derek Leung.
Hi, I'm Derek Leung, jockey from Hong Kong. Since when I was a little boy, I always loved animal and I like sport. And when I was 15, first time I touched the horses and I just loved them. And I was quite short, quite little, and then I just decided to be a jockey. Yeah, for me, must be Beauty Generation.
Beauty Generation kept going. Helene Paragon, Western Express trying hard. Beauty Generation, Western Express, Helene Paragon. Beauty Generation takes the mile.
I still remember when I came back, all the crowd and trainer and jockey come to cheer for me, and yeah, the feeling is good. No, not too much, because I still remember after 3 weeks is my son's give a birth, so it's a good present. Couple numbers, but of course the good one is quite important win, and the one for Paul Sullivan is called Possess. He win at Happy Valley, come from behind. The first time go to Happy Valley, it was held off like 10 or 20 lengths, and then come on very strong, last couple stride to catch them up.
And out wide, Pizzazz, Crown Witness, Groovy. Pizzazz right over the top, late, got up. I think he did, from last to first, Pizzazz.
Must be keep young, always. Too many is not too good to say it. Must be Sha Tin, my first good one, and it's my hometown. I have wife and I have one son, and he's 2 years and 9 months, and he's very smart, active, and very funny. Work hard.
He's certainly been reaping the rewards of that hard work, has Derek Leung. I'm rejoined by special guest Tom Biddington from the South China Morning Post on the show. Tom, good to catch up there with Derek Leung. That was one of the feel-good moments, really, of recent HKIR years when he won the mile on Beauty Generation.
Yeah, I remember it vividly. It was very, very special and just such a great reward for a really good guy, a genuinely good, solid citizen of the Hong Kong racing community, and it was so nice to see him return to the winner's stall in a big race on Sunday.
Yes, that was on Wishful Thinker in the Premier Bowl. That's actually his second win in the race. He won it in 2009 on Inspiration, so 11 years apart, those big race wins in that particular race. He's still fresh-faced. He doesn't look like he's been riding for that amount of time, Tom.
No, he looks as young as ever, and he's won 2 Tony Cruz awards as well. So he's still ticking along and churning out the winners, which is what we like to see.
Absolutely. He's ridden 6 winners already for this season, has Derek Leung. 2-time winner of the Tony Cruz Award, as Tom says, the most recent 2 going to Vincent Hay. We'll get to see Derek in action on the weekend as well, too. He's got 9 rides on the weekend. You can catch him in action by tuning into the Trackside Live coverage at 12:30 Hong Kong time. The first event is due off at 1 o'clock, first of 10. We're back to the Valley on Wednesday night, and then at Sarsa Ladies Purse Day on Sunday, the 1st of November. What a super day of racing that will be, and the ladies' purse in particular looks a cracker, as it always is. For this weekend, though, the highlight comes up as the last. Class 2 over 1,400 metres, and we get to see the next wave of talent step out. General's Delight is a talented individual. Mighty Giant's been in super form. He's won 5 of his last 6. Zach Curtin gets along really well with the horse. Ballistic King is very consistent. Lucky Express was a winner 2 starts ago. Karis Teaton jumps on board. Skyfield is one of the boom horses in Hong Kong racing at the moment. Circuit Glory steps up in class onto the other side of the page, where we've got Invincible Missile. Maximus steps out for the first time in his Hong Kong career. He's a very interesting runner. And then the bottom 2, Right Choice and Beauty Smile, both have lightweights in the race. So let's have a look at the field, Tom, and some of the better chances in the race, and start off with Skyfield. He's done everything right, at least in the wins column so far this season. His racing manners still have a bit to be worked on, and this is tougher, stepping up to Class 2 for the first time for him.
Definitely. He's probably the most exciting horse in the field and one of the most exciting horses in Hong Kong. But he does have a few quirks. He hasn't settled completely in his races. He hasn't been super helpful for Joe Moreira, his jockey. And the big test, of course, you've said stepping up to Class 2, but I think it's a bigger query to step up to 1,400 metres. He doesn't settle very well. Will he be able to get that? So that's the biggest question mark for me heading into the race.
We want to see him too, how he goes over 1,400 metres, because Casper Fownes has said all along he's training him for the Hong Kong Classic Mile. So this is his first real stretch beyond 1,200 metres in his career. Yeah,
that's right. So if he can handle it, obviously that bodes very well for the Classic Mile and the start of the 4-year-old series. If he doesn't, he'll probably have to bring him back to the sprint trips.
2020's been an excellent year for Ricky Yu, who sends out Mighty Giant in this race. He's won 5 of his last 6, has barely put a foot wrong since he started his racing career here in Hong Kong. Thought that was a really tough win from him first up this season too, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. He's a really promising horse. He just kept grinding and grinding and grinding after a pretty tough run in transit. He won well. That was up in Class 2. I think he can get the run of the race here. Right Choice should come across from barrier 14 with Alfie Chan. Zach's drawn awkwardly in barrier 10, but I think he can follow him off, settle in the first 2, 3, 4, and then give a kick at the top of the straight. And if he shows what he's capable of last start, then he can do it again.
How do you measure up those two, the 2 boom horses, Skyfield and Mighty Giant?
I think Skyfield has more ability, but I think Mighty Giant is a bit more seasoned and will probably be better suited over 1,400.
Let's touch on a couple of the other runners in the race. Lucky Express arrived in Hong Kong with big raps from Australia from what he did as a 2-year-old there. We got to see him win first time out in Hong Kong a couple of starts ago, first time out for this season. Is he a contender?
He's certainly one of the ones that has to be considered. Is it a similar sort of boat to Skyfield, again stepping up to 1,400 metres for the first time? Is he purely a sprinter, or can he get to the extra trip and potentially be a classic mile horse? I guess we'll start to see what he's capable of here.
And the first time on Saturday as well too that we'll get to see Maximus at the races in Hong Kong. He arrives here with good form from Europe, another potential Classic Series contender from the Tony Millard stable. Thumbs up or thumbs down from what we've seen at the trials, Tom, for Maximus?
I'll give him the thumbs up. I think he's a really nice horse. He, undefeated in 4 starts in Europe, in France and the UK. He's been trialling really well here. Alexi Bedell rides on Sunday. I'll be just really keen to see what he does. It's obviously very difficult for horses to come out and win first time here in Class 2, but I expect him to put in a good performance, and I look forward to following his career.
Okay, in summary, who wins the last on Saturday, Tom?
Yeah, I think Skyfield's the most talented horse, but I'll be sticking with Mighty Giant. I think he's more seasoned. He's proven over 1,400 metres and in Class 2, and I don't think there's a hell of a lot of speed in the race, so I think he should get the run to suit. He's the one to beat for me.
Yes, I'm with you. I think that I'm a big Skyfield fan, but I think the Mighty Giant could beat him on the weekend too, with the way it looks on paper. But it'll be a terrific race. That's clearly the highlight of Saturday's card. We're almost out of time on Hong Kong Direct then. Tom, thank you very much for joining us this week. All the best for the weekend.
Thanks very much, Ed. Look forward to it.
Thanks to Tom Biddington, our special guest on the show this week. So we are building up towards the next significant event on the Hong Kong racing calendar, and that is the Sarsa Ladies Purse coming up in just over a week's time. And last year's renewal of the race was won by the Iron Horse from Casper Fownes' stable, Southern Legend.
And they're still tight and compact inside the 800, and Time Warp getting his own way in the Sarsa Ladies Purse. But now the pressure's going to start coming in as Insatiable Wider Out, Furore and also Singapore Sling make their presence felt. Ho Ho Khan followed then by Eagle Way and Southern Legend. Sacred Capital's drifted back. Exultant's back on the rail, third last. He's hard ridden. Dark Dream and Citron Spirit. Time Warp's got a kick. He's cuddling him at the moment. He's a length clear on Southern Legend. Furore's one paced. Here's Sacred Capital unwinding from Macau down the middle as Time Warp is joined by Southern Legend. Exultant getting through, and then Sacred Capital. Southern Legend and Time Warp, they're in a real battle here. Southern Legend trying to lay up on Time Warp, gets his nose in front. Southern Legend from Time Warp.